countries that will be actually discussing here later on. And that investigation was done by a consortium of 26 journalists that are international, known to be really people who can do genuinely and deliberately and transparently independent reporting. And that is the value of journalism that will be always seen. And remember, there were sanctions about Putin's war loans on Ukraine, and these are the issues that are actually being highlighted under that. And that is one big other story there that is running throughout, and these are things that came over the weekend. And remember, yesterday the money lenders are soon going to have challenges with the lending instructions, and that's following the review of the money lending act that is already being done. And remember, the issues of people complaining about the high charges and so on has been one of the biggest stories in Uganda. And many people have testified that they have lost their property, they have lost a lot of, others have lost their relationships because somebody borrows money and does not pay, and you realize that the family property is taken. Sometimes misunderstandings come in and so on. This is one of the things that is coming. Remember, the Speaker of Parliament, that is Anita Monk, talked bitterly about this, the money lending act, which is not being favoring all the parties. It is only favoring the money lenders. This is one big issue there that is under review. And remember, because of the climate change and so on, the issues of unreliable electricity, Uganda not being having stable electricity is another big issue there that EU has committed a lot of, actually not EU, but the German government has committed a lot of funds to that is worth $10 million to support Uganda's renewable energy sector. That is another issue there that is going on. And I will be really moving to many of these stories if time will not cut us short. I will be having a lot of them discussed in the show, but let's take a break from here. We'll be actually coming back to discuss many more of these stories. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish for Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we gave you the highlights of the issues that we're actually going to discuss here. Remember, there is a lot that is happening outside there, and over the weekend, a lot of stories actually popped in, and also right now, there's a lot that is going through, all going on in the country. Remember, on Saturday, we received a lot of the swarm of grasshoppers in Western region, and many people really this actually raised a lot of anxiety among the people. People were so much into the collection of white ants, or actual grasshoppers, and this is where really the cost of grasshoppers in Western region has come down. And for those of you who want to really deal in the grasshopper business, the cost of grasshopper, a cup has come to 3,000 Ugandan shillings. This is up from 7,000, actual 5,000 Ugandan shillings that has been there. So for those who want to venture into the business, you can come to Arua City and be able to do the business. And this is a very good venture for people to do savings, for people to do a lot of things that they want to really venture into. And moving away from that, the first story that we highlighted is the issue to do with the anti-corruption week that is going on, and it's ending soon. And as part of the activities that have been planned for this anti-corruption week, the issues to do with the dialogues, and also trying to understand why local governments are finding it hard to fight corruption within. And there are issues to do with the monitoring aspect, and you realize that many of the local government leaders have found it difficult to actually do monitoring of certain projects. Talk about the hybrid procurements that are done by central government, ministries, departments and agencies, and these have really helped failure to actually streamline the channel of monitoring of some of these projects has actually trickled down to the challenges faced by local governments in monitoring some of these projects. And this actually opens way for some of the people, some of the contractors to notoriously go on to really consume some monies that are not being closely monitored. And this actually affects the monitoring aspects of the projects by local governments, but also affects the issues of accountability, because many of these projects are not being monitored, many of them are not being audited closely, because really if there's no one on ground monitoring certain projects, the contractors can do things on their way. They cannot really so much do within what you could talk about. Okay, so from the central government or from the agencies or departments, you realize that many of these projects are not closely monitored because people feel they are too far from the local governments. But awarding the contracts, they quickly run to award the contracts. But what happens is looking at the implementation stage, where they fail to even turn out to come and check whether the projects have been launched, whether they are going on well, and so on, affects the quality of works that have been done. And this comes back to the issues of accountability. You realize that IG comes in and puts the blames on the local governments for not being transparent, for not being focusing on or understanding why certain projects are not going on. And you realize that the blame was drawn to the local government officials. Talk about the political wing and the technical wing, and yet sometimes some of these hybrid procurements affect the monitoring aspects, where the contractors underrate the local government officials. These are really complaints that have for over time been coming from the local government leaders. They actually say that most of these contractors tend to be notorious, and they raised the issues of not being answerable to the local governments because they were given the contracts from the central government. So we need to actually streamline this gap. Okay, we need to bridge it in terms of monitoring, in terms of looking at the quality of the projects delivered, in terms of also looking at how people should be able to benefit from such projects. I realize that many times contractors do not want to pay the local people they have hired to do casual work, even sometimes technical work. And they just abandon them, they chase them at any time they want. They don't want to give them documents to really keep them legally right to say that they are working with such contractors. And this is one big issue there we need to really look at if we want to really move further in addressing the issues of corruption, in addressing the issues of quality in delivering service to the people. But also looking at most importantly, the value for money, because really if you have money injected into some projects but the money is not really seen working the best way we want, that means we are losing a lot of money for people to consume for nothing, and we will not really be able to get the benefit of those kind of things. Some of the projects that have actually been out or that have not been utilized within the contract periods are really mostly the USBID projects that are being undertaken by some of the local governments, where you realize that the conditions that were set to hire contractors are so tight that some of the local contractors could not really fulfill them. Talk about the issues of money in your money that you have put in your accounts, and also your cash flows and so on. These are things that most of our local contractors could not meet. But you realize that in terms of producing quality of works, the local contractors are sometimes even more delivering more quality work than the outsourced contractors from central government. And this is as a result that really people feel like they are doing their work at their home and also at their region, that they need really good recommendation of. But some of the contractors that have been hired from somewhere do not really look at that, because really they know that they will be having market elsewhere other than really in the same local governments or in the same region or in the same country. And that's really the implication of what we have. And the issues of kickbacks and conflict of interest have been really a lot of big issues that are also shaping the discussions around the issues of hiring contractors, and also making sure that we have quality of work delivered. And that's another big pertinent issue there that is actually coming through in the discussions. But also, all in all, the local governments are pushing for the issue of the hybrid procurements being to be actually scrapped off in case it is a service to be delivered for the local governments and the local people. They actually say that scrapping off that is a very important thing that will be helping the people, the local governments in monitoring the projects, in also ensuring that the contractors are put to task and account for whatever they are going to deliver to the people, from the initial stages of launching their projects up to the commissioning of the projects. And that's one big important thing that they want the central government to address. But also the issues of ensuring that local governments are able to account for the resources they use. The resources they use at an appropriate time is another big issue there that is actually needed so much. But also the aspect of monitoring. In case you are monitoring projects and you are an employee of government, IG has actually cautioned that the issues of asking for bribes, issues of extortion, issues of underrating subordinates, talk about people around you who are working in the same department, is another big issue there that is so badly hitting to our corruption intakes. Remember, Uganda alone has actually wasted a lot of money. That is 9.144 trillion US dollars. That is annually lost due to corruption. And this is one big issue here we need to really fight. This is according to actually the National Integrity Survey 2019. And if you look at that, you realize that most of these monies go through the issues of bribery, conflict of interest, hybrid procurements, the issues of extortion, and many other things. And this is one of the things that we need to really fight seriously if we want to really move further and also ensure that our nation is taken to another height. And one of the other issues that have been discussed in the region that has hit really big is the issues to do with the Market Act. Remember, the Central City Division took stakeholders into the issues of evaluating or ensuring that people are equipped with the knowledge of what is contained in the new Market Act. Remember, the Market Act is one big issue, a big statutory instrument that helps to ensure that the markets are maintained, managed, and also taxes are collected in a profound, efficient way where possible. And this also provides for the association of vendors to be formed who are actually supposed to make sure that they are able to manage the market themselves, they are able to collect the taxes themselves, they are able to also identify the people who are supposed to have designated places, as the lockups talk about, maybe the lockups and so on, the rooms, the designated zonings and so on, are supposed to be done by the vendors association. This is also provided for in the law, but also the issues of taxation, but also the issues of tender, and many others are incorporated in this law. So this is able to make sure that all the markets that are in the country are utilized efficiently by the vendors and also people who want to do businesses without tribalism, without nepotism, without many other things, sex, and also any other things that you may talk about that talks about racism. Okay, people are supposed to go to the market and talk the business, talk the language called business and money. That is what the law provides, and it prohibits the creation of new markets by individuals and individuals owning markets, and private markets being established, it prohibits them. So in case somebody comes out and says, this is my market, and because I provided the land myself, it's my market, that will not be there arising in the country. And that's one big issue there, that the law is actually trying to hit or address in various circumstances. But also it is trying to limit the issues, aspects of street venting, which is too common in most of the urban centers. Talk about municipalities and cities, or all the towns. Okay, this is too common, and it affects actually the issues of revenue collection, revenue generation, and many other things. You realize that many people feel that they can easily manipulate the system by even giving receipts. You remember the issue of one of the technical officers in Ero City trying to issue fake receipts to the people who were on streets, trying to collect a lot of money in the names of the city council. And this matter being under investigation, we may not talk much about it, but it is one of the examples of the issues that are really happening, especially on the streets. Why street venting is being promoted, who is behind it, who benefits at last, and so on. These things come because of those kind of individuals taking advantage of those kind of things. So this law has come as an umbrella to collect all this mess and make sure that it is dumped in the right way, and prohibits street vending, prohibits a lot of hawking on the roads, hawking on the streets and so on, and even in the home states, people move across the communities, doing hawking and so on. That law also prohibits that. So in case you are arrested or maybe caught guilty by law and so on, you'll be really charged in the G1 magistrate. And this is one thing we all need to really share with other stakeholders, share with people, share with the business persons, share with other people, to ensure that really we organize our markets. We collect a lot of revenue from these markets, so that really government gets back the money that has been injected into these markets. Remember, under the market agriculture and that is market agriculture and trade improvement program, that is the MATIP 2, where really government injected a lot of money into the regional markets that we have seen. We have seen one in Arua, that is for West Nile, and we have seen in Gulu, we have seen in Lira, we have seen in Shoroti, Barara, Mbale, and so on. Many other towns, that is Hoima and many others that we may talk about in this country. There's a lot of money, billions, trillions that government has injected, with Arua City having the biggest share of 34.9 billion Ugandan shillings. That came with even the value addition facility, the component of value addition facility that is established at Awindere, which costs around 8 billion Ugandan shillings. These are tailored towards addressing the issues of improving the marketing, improving the value addition, improving the issues of revenue remittance. This is one of the biggest issues that are being challenged by this kind of law. And remember, it is going to be a very good issue if we are able to accommodate all our vendors into the market, and also make sure that people are able to transact businesses in a free and fair manner. This is where really we are coming from. And those of you who did not know that this law is in existence, the issues of awarding contracts or tenders for people who are not doing business is going to stop from now and onwards. And the issues of vendors being in association will not only benefit the government, but also benefit the vendors who are in the association. First of all, the issues of uniform marketing, the issues of addressing the challenges faced by the business persons is another issue there that you will be able to be catered for in this kind of association. But also the issues of tender. Remember, the local governments have been instructed by this law to use the available vendor associations to tender the same market, because they know themselves, they know the magnitude of revenue that is generated by this market. So they'll be able to actually move further in as far as implementing some of the mechanisms or some of the gaps that existed before this law, but also that will be taken by this law. So it will be a benefit of the vendors and also government looking at the revenue remittance, but also addressing the problems of the vendors themselves in this kind of markets. That will be done by the vendors association. But also in terms of the issues of security, in terms of providing utilities, the vendor association will be responsible of coordinating and also collaborating with the next local government. This is not going to be only in the urban centers, in cities and so on, but also the spotlight markets. Okay, the spotlight markets, I talk about the growth centers, talk about the trading centers, the many things, the ways you talk or mention them. If you call others the town boards, the what and so on, those are where the growth centers are. But we will also have, we are aware that there are some markets that are very small. They don't have concrete associations of vendors, but this will be given to the parish chiefs to look at the revenue collections at that point. But the markets that have grown at that the sub-counties directly go and they supervise, those are markets that will be having those kind of associations and also be able to provide the services that are needed at that particular time. But also the issues of now having talk about the washrooms and so on, sanitation, hygiene and so on, be put close or be put available for the vendors will be one interesting thing there that will be coming. Remember, part of the revenue that is generated by the market will be used also to develop such a market. So it will be upon the vendors. If you don't want to pay taxes, expect that your market will not be able to grow. It will not be able to develop. So we should be able to work together to have team spirit in achieving some of these issues to ensure that also we're able to take our markets very far. We're able to develop our local governments. Remember, government is right now channeling the issues of the local economic development agenda. That's where really all local governments, all the lower administrative units are able to identify the potential revenue sources that they have, and also be able to collect revenue from them and be able to develop them. Okay, that is what is contained under the local economic development agenda that is set already, being already worked on. Okay, and also ensuring that the revenues that are generated and collected are not used at source, and that's why the integrated revenue administrative system has been introduced. And this is one avenue where really we'll be able to collect revenue, be able to send it to the center to ensure that nobody consumes part of the money, and the business persons are not cheated in any way. So it is of benefit to the business persons. We have seen challenges of double charges or double payments being coming in, and also the unreasonable assessments that are being done by some of the technocrats just because they want to profit here in such opportunities. You go and overassess someone. You give somebody a very big target to achieve in as far as serving the revenue payments is concerned. So this have been addressed under the IRS system that has been brought by government. So you'll be able to use the code to pay direct to government, and you only get the receipt from your phone that you have been able to do the payment, and that actually stops the issues of people overcharging, of people taking monies and using them at source, and also of people taking advantage of the business persons, exploiting them once they have seen that your business is growing, for them to make sure that it fails. They overcharge you, they overtax you, they at some point even some people come with padlocks and locks your business and so on. These are things that government is actually looking at, ensuring that the price of the business persons is addressed, but also ensuring that government is able to get those little monies that are paid by the business persons and putting it to the right use. We have seen a lot of interventions by government, ensuring that the business persons are able to also benefit from the social services that are provided, ensuring that there's improvement in water points, taking water up to the trading centers, the business premises, and also ensuring that electricity is partially taken to the people. So in the near future, we'll be able to see that electricity is put to be constant, but also the issues of water taken by National Water and Sewerage Corporation is taken to date, and that is one big issue there we should be able to take seriously. Let's take a break from here, and we'll be coming back to discuss a lot of issues to do with many other topics later on. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league. Go for it!
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
At break, we are earlier discussing the issues to do with the corruption, the anti-corruption week, which actually is coming to an end soon this week, and the national celebrations will be done in Kololo, that is the Kololo ceremonial grounds in Kampala, and also the regional dialogues are being held for Western region. It was last week, where we had a lot of leaders dialoguing on issues affecting them, the pressing issues to do with gaps identified that have actually led to government losing a lot of monies, and that is where really a lot of leaders we actually trying to share their thoughts, their feelings about why interventions are not tailored towards combating corruption, and also looking at killing off the ideology of corruption, because really, if you look at the way people are accepting corruption, it is actually like the corrupt are being defended. Talk about the recent arrests of people such, who failed to adduce evidence of work done, and also the implementation of some of the projects that were implemented irregular, that actually many of government resources are being utilized without the authority of the council, where many people were protesting, saying that, hey, these people were arrested on political grounds and so on. You see those kind of things. We cannot fight corruption when we have these kind of things happening. That means people are defending the corrupt. So is it in any way that we'll be able to fight corruption? That is another issue there that we should be able to really look critically if we want to fight corruption. And if you look at on the roads, you just come and stop where the traffic is actually inspecting vehicles on the roads. They will stop a vehicle, and when the vehicle has even overloaded people, even when the tires have worn out, even when the vehicle is not insured, you realize that when the driver pays something and the officer accepts it, the vehicle continues. That's what the people will say, this traffic officer is really doing his work, is doing better. But this other one who stops the vehicle and parks it aside and says, if you don't buy maybe the tire and fix a new one, we're not going to allow you to proceed. People will say those are the bad ones. So people are actually in any way, ideally, supporting the people who are actually penetrating through with corruption. People who are doing a lot of bribery, people who are so much into promoting corruption, are being supported by the community. So we need to really think around trying to shape the minds or change the minds of people that we need to fight corruption in all aspects. We should not really be able to support the corrupt in any way, and that's why really we are saying there's a lot that we need to do. We need to empower the people, we need to sensitize the people, we need to engage the communities, and also tell them their rights are this, or okay, in terms of combating crimes, but also looking at the aspects of how do we kill the mentality of the officers who are serving in these various offices, that they should not really be salivating on public funds, public resources, diverting them, and also using the available assets of government in their personal interests, okay? Not caring about supporting the use of public resources in a very friendly and well-defined manner. These are the things that we really need to talk about and ensure that they move very far in as far as addressing those gaps is concerned. But also moving away from that, we have the issues to do with environmental destruction, and this is due to the unstable energy sources that we have in this country. We are all aware that the national grid is underway to Western region, and this is one area that all of us need to look at in terms of addressing the issues of environmental destruction. And you realize that many people are still on charcoal, including some of us who are still there. And if you are so much into charcoal, how much charcoal do you use in a day? And also, what can you do in order to really address some of these gaps? There are available sources or alternative sources of energy that we have. Talk about solar energy that is in your midst at a cheaper cost. There are other organizations that have made it easier by paying it at installment. We are not advertising solar, but the issue is people need to really look at other opportunities to tap in, because now that we have actually cleared all the big trees, we are left with those small trees that may not really produce a lot of quality charcoal that you can use for cooking for quite a long period of time. So what other thing can we provide? What other alternative can we provide to ensure that people can be able to do better or do a lot of things? If you look at Uganda's statistics as of now, 41% of the Ugandans actually are the ones who are using alternative sources of energy other than wood fuel and other forest-related products. And this trickles down to the over 6,000 metric tons of trees that are cleared every year. And this is one big issue there that we need to really address if we want to have this nation regreened. Okay, it's very, very important that we should be able to really do that in the best way possible. But also those of you who have been connected to electricity, whether it been erratic power that has been supplied or the stable power that is being supplied, you should be able to really start using your electricity for cooking. It doesn't change the taste of the food. It is you to add the taste of the food to yourselves. If you don't know how to cook, please go to where they're training cooks and so on. You should be able to learn how to do cooking using electricity. It's very, very easy, faster, and clean. Okay, very, very clean, and that is when one good thing that is seen in clean cooking alternatives. Talk about the electricity systems that you can use to do cooking, and gas cookers are some of the alternatives that you can use. Remember, government had pledged to actually give the citizens free gas cookers. This was a pilot project that was expected to actually end by this year. So I don't know how far this has gone. We'll be able to actually engage someone from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to actually tell us how far it has gone. And this actually started from Central Region, where there were some districts that were highlighted to benefit from this. Talk about Wakisho, talk about Kampala district, and many other districts that have been able to get a benefit from this. Talk about the Busoga sub-region and the Western Uganda, where this rollout actually kick-started. And I don't know how far this has gone. We'll be able to actually engage somebody from Ministry of Energy to tell us more about how far that free gas cylinder distribution has gone. And this was a project of worth 1 billion Ugandan shillings, and it was actually supposed to be given to each region for spotted people, people who cannot in any way even get a little of electricity, for them for us to weigh between the use of gas cookers and also the use of electricity. How which one is cheaper and which one can be able to be sustainable for all the communities in the region. And that's one big issue there that has been prioritized by government. And this is an overview or an additional opportunity that exists for the people to really tap into the issues of cooking. And also looking at the other aspect of cooking, you realize that over the week there was another launch of a project that is dubbed the Clean Energy Cooking Alternative, that was launched by the State Minister for Energy and Mineral Development in Tebe, where there is already a perishable machine that is being introduced to actually preserve perishables. Talk about tomatoes, talk about fish, talk about many other things that will be preserved in that machine. And this is being built, and also the factory is being built. And this is a $10 million project that is being rolled out, and it was commissioned over the weekend, and many people are expected to benefit from that kind of intervention. So those of you who would really want to see how far Uganda will be going, you should be able to follow these kind of projects or programs that you should be able to really see in the long run. And many other things, I will be able to see that a lot is brought to the people close if you want to really move further with this kind of interventions brought to you by government. But also looking at many other aspects of development, you realize that government is actually working hard to address the issues of teenage pregnancy. Remember, over the weekend, the president was with showmen people who were graduating from different vocational schools, and also from different vocational programs. Talk about tailoring, garment cutting, and combating teenage pregnancy was one bigger issue there that came in the says of the president. Actually, he said that we need to have concerted effort in combating teenage pregnancy, and addressing this can be by skilling the young people, and that's why really he is actually so much concerned about the issues of skilling Uganda, and also ensuring that many young people are able to get the opportunities, they are able to have the best of their time in as far as addressing the challenges of teenage pregnancy, and also making sure that many of our young people who are unemployed are able to get employment opportunities through skilling, through and many other kind of things that we may talk about. We have seen skilling being one of the biggest interventions taken by government, but also we have seen many lives transformed through these skilling projects. We have seen people in entrepreneurship, people in agriculture, and also many other things that we have seen young people benefiting from, and many other things that will be falling down from this kind of discussions. For those of you who are following us on YouTube, you should be able to share with us what the biggest stories you had over the weekend are, and also from what we are discussing, what you have been able to pick and also understand from what is going on. And that is very, very important. That will be also projecting some of them here shortly. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league. Go for it!
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break, and earlier on we were discussing the issues to do with skilling the young people. And remember, this is one way that the government of Uganda is actually trying to address the issues of unemployment and also keeping the young people busy in terms of their minds, in terms of preparing them towards also addressing certain issues. Remember, the issues of hooliganism, the issues of young people running mad or becoming mentally ill are actually some of the issues attributed to having done studies but you can't be able to really get jobs. And this is one way actual government is trying to address that gap. And we have seen so many testimonies in so many areas that young people who were turned to be useless or who had actually dropped out of school because of maybe lack of school fees and so on, through these skilling centers that have been put at every region, they have been able to actually uplift their status, they have been able to start earning a better life. And this is where we are seeing many of them actually celebrating, trying to get a lot of good ways of life. And right now you see that many of them are able to actually educate their children, are able to take off the burden of their parents, others are educating their followers, siblings and so on. This is just the beauty of skilling Uganda, and that is one thing that has been really seriously there to address the issues of income inequalities, the issues of unemployment, the issues to do with many other things that you may talk about. And this is very, very important. If we take it positively, it can take us in a long way. But also addressing the issues of gender-based violence, talking about the aspect of teenage pregnancy. We have seen many people still having that mentality of once maybe a boy starts experiencing adolescence and many other things, he feels big and so on. People tend to leave such kind of characters out, and this leaves the young people, the girls and the boys, to feel like they are matured enough. And this is one area that we really need to address concurrently together as stakeholders, not really looking at central government also alone, but also many other issues. And remember, there were a lot of statutory instruments released by Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development talking about the parenting guidelines that are there. We should be able to really look at some of those things to help our parents, to help our young people, to help our communities in coming out of such challenges, so that we are able to have a society that is able to move very far. Moving away from Uganda, talk about the neighbors, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Remember, on Friday, Democratic Republic of Congo officially launched the campaigns for the presidential parliamentary elections, and these campaigns are expected to run up to the month of December 19th. And on 20th of December, we'll be seeing people lining up to vote for their presidents and many other things. And remember, Felix Tshisekedi, that is the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, has communicated that all is set and also there's no panic. Amid all the tensions that we have seen about the ADF rebels, the M23 rebels, and many other tribal or sentiments among the communities that have been really causing a lot of havoc. Remember, over the week that over 900 Congolese really invaded Uganda. This is looking for refuge because of the uprising that is in the Beni and also many other parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And this is one area that we will talk about. Politically, this is one big issue that is going on amidst all those tensions of conflicts. The campaigns have kick-started. There are already 26 candidates who have shown interest and already in campaigns. This is for the presidential race, okay? They are all vying for the presidential race. And that is one area that many of us need to put our interests and also look at how the campaigns will be going on, but also looking at the aspects of what it means to DRC. Where we show the country, that is South Sudan, trying to do campaigns amid all those wars and so on, but they failed to organize elections. This was because the tensions of conflicts continued to increase each and every day, and this affected a lot of the processes, and it made elections not to succeed. That has left the president, the current president, to be in power for quite a long period of time. And this is where really many of the people, the citizens, have felt that they have not been helped so much in addressing some of those kind of issues. But we are all aware that the M23 rebels and also many other rebel allies that you may find in the Democratic Republic of Congo have actually caused a lot of people to lose their lives, have made so many people to lose their property. Okay, many have been taken for refuge or to refuge in many other countries. Talk about especially Uganda hosting the majority of them is one big other issue there, and the campaigns are expected to be in a free and fair manner and on free grounds. Okay, free grounds meaning every candidate who comes in contention for such positions should be able to move in the best way according to the roadmap they have. Okay, this is one big issue there that is happening in DRC. But also still in DRC, the issues of illegal mining is still going on, but many other companies, remember the Chinese firm that has been spotted on in illicit financial flows, and also moving away with raw materials from Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the one company that came to do construction works, but decided to venture into mining, and the mining was done illegally. Over the night they are in mining, over the day they are in constructions, and this is one big issue there that is happening in DRC. So with the political turmoil that is coming on, we expect that a lot is done, and everything has to come into control. Remember, the president actually communicated that the peacekeepers need to move away from DRC. But is this all? Is it something that will help DRC to achieve its targets of being an independent nation? But also, how about the rebel activities that are going on? How about the issues of insecurity brought by the investors themselves? The investors who are actually pushing government to the wall in terms of moving away with the raw materials that the country is ever producing. So what is it that they can be able to really tap from this? And once looking at some of the areas of politics, we are all aware that African politics has never produced a peaceful election, despite Liberia showing an example, like George were communicating that he is peacefully accepting the results that are coming out. And can this be done by any other country that will be seen across the globe or in the African states? That is one thing that we'll be looking at in the next phase, or maybe in the first half of the elections campaigns that will be seen, because the campaigns are just 4 days after the launch. So we are yet to see up to the 20th how peaceful or how uniquely DRC will be able to do their campaigns. Still moving on, in some parts of Africa, Liberia, I told you that George Weah has been put down as the president of Liberia. He's actually going to hand over to Bokai, that is Bokai Joseph, who got the biggest share of the votes that were casted. According to the results that were released over the weekend, this is one election that was described to be peaceful because already all the stakeholders worked together in addressing this. But on the other side, we are seeing that police actually arrested a lot of opposition candidates, leaders, and also administrators of some of the opposition political parties. This is just to prevent any possible conflict that may be coming in the due course of the campaigns, and also really looking at many other issues that will be coming. Remember, when election results are about to be out, many times we have seen in Africa, it has become a common phenomenon that the opposition has to be in when they are declaring results. So I don't know why that is always like that. Does it mean the government that is actually in control of elections, in control of elections, but also the EC, the Electoral Commission, is not doing enough in looking at a fair ground. When even you are declaring the election results, everyone has to be awake, seeing how it is declared in a transparent manner, just like what your mandates say. You are supposed to be independent as a commission overseeing the issues of elections. Why maybe sometimes the opposition has to be in before declaring the election results. So you expect such things to happen in Africa? Sure, it continues just like that. We have seen many times, even in Uganda, many people have been arrested, put in before election results are announced. And remember, in Kenya, it happened the same. So we should be doing something if we want to really show that really we are in a democratic government in Africa. So that is where we really need to all move to in addressing some of these kind of gaps that exist. Okay, it's very, very important that we are able to move together as nations to see that the independence that we were yearning for under the African Union should be able to be a regionalized thing, and every country is able to exercise the same thing, because we are doing things as if in a different way, as if we're in different member states, as if we're in different nations or continent, and so on. Really, we need, when much as we have different laws, we need to really have fairness as far as the issues of declaring election results is concerned, but also giving a fair ground for every candidate to exercise his or her mandates in as far as selling the manifesto is concerned. For instance, if I am contesting in the opposition wing, I should be given the platform to also market my manifesto. Okay, my manifesto should be sold in the best way, not by abusing the incumbent president. We have seen that instead of talking about the manifesto, we have seen the opposition now abusing the incumbent president, or at some point you realize that they talk about one individual other than now talking about a political party. That actually changes the narrative of having the people doing campaigns in a free and fair manner. So that is one thing really electoral commissions across the continent of Africa need to address if we want to really actually move further in exercising democracy in the country. Let's take a break from there. I will be able to come back to actually share a lot with the other things that are happening across the world with you here shortly. Thank you. All right, welcome back from that commercial break. We're discussing about the politics and also what is actually happening in Africa and some parts of the world trying to understand the issues to do with the politics, the democracy in Africa, how it is being exercised is one big issue there. To remind you that we'll be actually having the news in Lubarati that will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel at the hour of 9 a.m. So you should be there to wait for that. I know the guy is actually warming up so seriously, trying to alert me that please guy, I'm coming shortly. So that is one thing that I need to really tell you, that he'll be actually coming fully packed over the weekend. Things happened. He'll be actually sharing with you a lot about what is actually happening. Away from Liberia and some parts of Africa, moving to Zimbabwe, where really the state of emergency was actually declared. When actually governments declare state of emergency, it's either outbreak of something or it is either war that is actually coming. And that's why many governments declare states of emergency. And once it is declared, all communications are done by the state house or the government from the central government. No local government or no any other person has to defy any rule that is communicated at any point. And this is one big story in Zimbabwe, where the capital city, that is Harare, was declared outbreak of cholera. And over the week, just like 4 days ago, so many people have lost their lives. About 5,686 have been confirmed positive of having the cholera disease in them. And out of this, you realize that so many people have been able to succumb to the disease, and that is an equivalent of 1,654 have succumbed cumulatively from 2019. But particularly this year, there are 42 people who have died of cholera, and this is a very big issue there that is happening in Zimbabwe. And remember, there is a lot that is talked about the issues of health in Africa. Most of the countries are having challenges with the health system, the challenges with the education system, general social service delivery, services that are rendered towards helping the communities. And this is one big area there that is happening there in Zimbabwe. And remember, if you look at the stories that are coming from Zimbabwe right now, they are actually talking about how the government failed to combat the outbreak in the initial stages. Remember, there were initially cases that were reported, but government had actually slept at some point, and this trickled to the widespread of cholera in the country. And remember, there are so many factors that have been attributed. Two of them, the major ones, have been the issues of poor quality of water or contaminated water that is consumed in the country. That is highlighted as the major issue. Many people are consuming dirty water in the country, but now the government has put two remedies. People should be able to avoid mass gathering. This is one thing that is being put there. Handshaking has been stopped completely in Zimbabwe. Right now, people do not greet. And also in funerals, there is no food prepared. That is one thing. And people should not be eating food at funeral places. And funeral places are limited to less than 50 people. Less than 50 people. So that is one big issue here that is coming up from Zimbabwe. And you realize that this is strictly being followed, implemented by the army, the police, and also other sister security agencies. The health inspectors, the health officers have swung into action, expediting surveillance, and also picking those who are vomiting, passing a lot of badges. That is those who are not really having good of their health. The running stomach issues, the issues of people who are not defecating but splashing fishes. That is one big issue there. Passing stool with a lot of watery stool is another issue there that the health workers are looking at. But also the latrine coverage in the country is still very little, and that is another contributing factor. So people who are trying to move to Zimbabwe right now, you should be prepared that you are not going to greet anyone, you are not going to eat any public food. You should be able to cook your food from your home. That is one big issue there that is happening in Zimbabwe. So in many of the occasions that when a state of emergency is declared, many people are supposed to listen and wait from the head of state, and that's what exactly has been communicated by the health department of the country. And the health workers have been dispersed. Many trainings have been done to ensure that work is done diligently. And those those people who are in the country right now, the handshaking is already being put to a close. But also the issues of putting hand washing equipments at every gathering places and also business premises is one big issue there that has been put. The instructions are clear that once you are feeling not well, you should be able to report to a health facility, or even any person who is leading the lower local governments of the country. That is one big issue there that is happening in the world of health. And also looking at the interventions by the government, there are so many people who have been trained to help in emergencies in every health facility to handle the issues of cholera, but also looking at other diseases that are happening. I remember when in Africa the issues of COVID came in, many governments had different instructions issued to people, and it was hand washing that actually eliminated COVID-19. This is one big issue there that, if impressed well, Zimbabweans will be able to have the best of their health improved, and to combat the issues of people dying and so on. Aid is needed, and also the issues of early treatment is one big issue there. Remember, with cholera, you cannot spend like a week before you die, so you should be able to run quickly to a health facility. And also the issues of garbage management in the country is another issue here that is actually contributing to this. Many systems have failed in terms of especially the health system. In a chronological order, many people are not really utilizing the available resources they have. Talk about the management of waste, management of sanitation, hygiene, and many other aspects of health. Talk about the toilets. Many people are not defecating in the toilets. Many people are not using the disposables. Many people are not putting the garbage in the right place, and those are things that have been identified to have contributed to the outbreak of the cholera in Zimbabwe. And to sum up on that, for those of you who have been watching us from the start of this show, we appreciate you very, very much, that you have been a very important person who has been making us here to continue with the show successfully. And I hope you have been able to pick something for your survival, for your health, or for your any other thing. Remember, the issues to do with the cholera will not only be avoided, or will not only stop with Zimbabwe. There are so many areas in Africa, there are so many countries in Africa that have undergone through cholera outbreaks, and many even local governments where you are, you need to look at the issues of garbage management critically in order to improve your sanitation, in order to ensure that cholera or dysentery, diarrhea, all these do not really come to your place, because these are diseases of hygiene, diseases of environmental sanitation. Okay, if you cannot keep it well, even in your home, if you cannot keep your food covered, if you cannot eat that warm food and so on, you will be easily getting this kind of diseases. There are so many people whose rooms have cockroaches. These are the agents of cholera, diarrhea, and also dysentery that we are always seeing in our communities that are happening. There are so many people who do not want to wash their hands. even when they have seen that their colleagues are eating, you just run, that I trust my hands. It's too common in gatherings, in schools where there are maybe hostels. Many learners feel like washing the plate is a very big burden. So you lick it using your tongue and say you are dry cleaning, which is very, very bad. It's one thing that we need to kill among the learners that is happening. And if we cannot avoid that, we may not really move away from that. And many of you who have been in different places, in different places of gathering, we have seen that in funeral places, people say if you are not eating the food, actually you have bad heart for the deceased. You see that? So that is where you can easily get the diseases. Now you have the fear that when you move, they will be seeing you that you are moving, you have not eaten. You are the one who has bad heart for the one who has died. You see those things. So in Zimbabwe, the government has actually said no to eating at burial or funeral places. So that is one big issue that other countries can even pick a leaf from. Can we kill this way of people feeling like they can dose lands by going to funeral places, by going to eating food at gathering places and so on, so that we avoid some of these public health threats that are coming to the communities? We can only control this when we all work together. But if one person is maybe communicating, the other one is actually communicating the controversial version of what the direct beneficial communication had done, it kills the content that has been delivered. There are many people who actually alter statements of others. These are people who are said to be reporters. You feel like you are the best in your institution, you are the best in your nation, in your country, by actually spreading a lot of propaganda, fictions that you want to actually have the good name of yours, because you want to actually fix a lot of things, you want to do a lot of maybe that's about other people or what other people have said. You alter them and put some paste on it that actually alters the content that was originally put by someone. It's actually defamatory and misleading to many people. So misinformation is one of the issues that has actually continued to spread a lot of propaganda, actually making people's relationship die. Okay, that's very, very important. But maybe for those of you who have been watching, we say thank you very, very much. This is where we actually put in the discussions on the Kokoliriko show for Monday edition to a close. Today is the 20th of November 2023. So we are left with a few days to close this year. So those of you who have not done enough, this remaining 30 or 41 days that are remaining, you can be able to do something still within the days, and make sure that you make a name for the 2023. And when we're coming for the duties that we're supposed to do in the 2024, we should be able to start from a new page, not really going back to revise what we had actually done or we had planned some time back. But in case it fails, never give up. You can be able to revolutionize and also do something around it and make sure life goes on. Today being a Monday, I hope all the officers will be in place. We don't want these tendencies of disappearing and you report to work late and you disappear very early. That actually is one area of corruption that we should be able to treat seriously. Behind the camera, I had actually Dijon Pro, who has been actually handling the camera, but also Aldo is the producer for this show from morning up to midday in Lemangia. He's also the producer for that show. We appreciate your time. The two technical guys, we appreciate you very, very much. And also the team for the Liberty News is actually coming up next at the time of 9 a.m. Let's take it off from here. Thank you.